And certainly we think this is the right time for Inovio. Pfizer and Moderna had their time. We look forward to Inovio's time in the coming months.
Hello. Since my last drill into Inovio on the 16th of August, the pieces of the pie are cooking quite nicely, and even Dr. Kim's stars are aligning. Inovians, our time may actually come very soon. Dr. Kim will rise up from the ashes, and Inovio could be the biggest rocket to Pluto. I have my predictions on the Inovio endgame, so stay tuned for this and more. Keep it simple. Well. Since my last drill, the stock price of Inovio has continued to consolidate in the zone between $9.50 and $7.50. This consolidation zone essentially began all the way back in March if we discount the plunge from the DoD funding pullout for Phase 3, which I hate to stress again, made zero sense unless it was a forced move from the powers that be. Being around the lows of this consolidation zone means we are likely to see a bounce anytime soon, but more importantly, I think the spring is being called right now, ready for an explosive move to the upside. Remember, I ain't no financial advisor, I'm just a simple trader, so no more plugging. Let's start drilling. Rewind back to 23rd of April. Inovio announced the DoD funding pullout for the Phase 3 trials. Boom! The stock tanked 25% from $9 all the way down to $6.85. But for me, and as I said in one of my reaction drills, I believe this was the best possible trigger to get Inovio out of the US system. It was clear the FDA boys were not going to play ball, and they were not going to let Inovio get any headway. But let's not drill into that right now.
That's bullshit. We all know it's happening.
As explained by Dr. Kim in several conferences, Inovio will unleash an ex-US global Phase 3 trial. What does this mean? Simple. On the 8th of June, Inovio announced an expanded partnership with Chinese Advaccine Biopharmaceuticals to conduct Phase 3 efficacy trials of INO 4800, their COVID-19 DNA vaccine. Do you think this would have happened if they were still under the umbrella of the US DoD funding? Hell no. On the 26th of August, Inovio released news that they had secured authorization to proceed Phase 3 trials for INO 4800 in none other than Brazil. Side note, more countries are to follow. Now, why is Brazil absolutely monumental? And not many people are talking about it. Simple. You have to look outside of the box to piece this puzzle together. Brazil is simply huge because of Inovio's partnership with Advaccine. Why? Well, it will help you to start piecing it together if I told you that one of the current vaccines approved by the WHO, World Health Organization, and granted an EUA, Emergency Use Authorization, is Sinovac. Sinovac is a Chinese company who developed CoronaVac, an inactivated vaccine, and it is no joke. As of Q1 2021, it is the 7th top selling COVID-19 vaccine in the world, commanding sales of over $264 million. When you compare this though to Pfizer-BioNTech, who achieved sales of $5.8 billion, you will start to understand why the big pharma would be so desperate to limit the playing field. Back to why Brazil is bigger than most believe. Well, Sinovac actually conducted their Phase 3 trials in Brazil. That is big. The Chinese clearly have strong ties to the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency. Now that Inovio is working with Advaccine, they have also taken this route, and it is clear to me that Phase 3 is a ticking time bomb. Now, what adds further fuel to the mix is that if you remember, on the 9th of August, Inovio announced that China's Center for Drug Evaluation has authorized Inovio together with Advaccine to work with none other than Sinovac on 2 clinical trials investigating boosting capabilities of INO 4800 together with CoronaVac. Oh me oh my. Now you may be asking, when will this actually happen? Take it from me, the Chinese will not play around on this when they can sense the monumental market at stake. Why? Well, remember, Advaccine had filed for an IPO in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange all the way back in April. Why has the trail gone cold? And why are they not public yet? Simple. I believe they will wait for the EUA, Emergency Use Authorization, to be granted for INO 4800. Once they and Inovio achieve this, the orders will start flooding in, and when they do, I believe that is when they will launch their IPO, which could literally be moonbound. This is something to take quite seriously, and once we know or find a date that the IPO is set, then wow, that could literally signal that the EUA is forthcoming and will be granted for INO 4800.
Obviously, our focus right now, razor focused in getting phase 3 testing done, get our efficacy and safety data in large scale for INO 4800, get that approved and get them into multiple countries around the globe who need vaccines.
Other countries, as promised, are in fact rolling in. On the 22nd of September, Inovio released news it received approval to commence its global phase 3 trials by the National Health Regulatory Agency of Mexico. That is simply huge. And together with the approval received in the Philippines, which Inovio released first on its Twitter page back on the 9th of September, means they are now conducting phase 3 trials in 4 countries and 3 continents. China and the Philippines, which are on the Asian continent, Mexico being North American continent, and Brazil being the South American continent. But it won't stop there. As they stated in the press release, they are seeking authorization to conduct trials in additional countries. We already know from Dr. Kim's previous appearances that Inovio are actively seeking to conduct phase 3 in an African country. Something that we almost have to drill into, which is almost at boiling point right now.
Hot! Too hot!
Is the phenomenal, crazy, and tremendous short interest on our Inovio stock. Yes, the short interest is currently over 21% right now. To put that into context, any company with a short interest over 10% is considered high, but as Market Beat puts it, any company with a short interest over 20% indicates widespread negative sentiment. Is there really widespread negativity on this stock? How can there be any such thing towards a company that is seeking to save lives of fellow humans? How sick is that? Anyway, as Inovians, we just need to know the numbers. If we take the numbers in Market Beat on face value, then know this: there are 200 million shares on float, 21% is short, 34% is held by the institutions, and 3% by the insiders, leaving what? 42% being the leftover, or 84 million shares being the active float. That is tiny, and any big moves could trigger that squeeze on the shorts. What's the biggest likely catalyst? The EUA. Once the EUA comes, the shorts, I think, are going to get vaporized unless they start covering before that. But without doubt, I think we will still see the stock explode to obscene levels. To summarize, I am so beefed up about what the coming few months may bring. Yes, there is still a lot of FUD and bashing of Inovio stock, but for me, the pieces of the puzzle are forming a very clear picture that Inovio will rise up. And with its partnership of Chinese Advaccine, I believe within 2022, INO 4800 will be without doubt commercialized, and thus not only providing proof of concept, but will open up the entire floodgates to Inovio's gigantic DNA medicines pipeline. INO 4800 in this regard is just the beginning.
We expect the first interim readout to be in the first quarter, before the end of first quarter in 2022. And with the data, if we're successful, we plan to rapidly apply for emergency use authorization through the WHO pathway, but also various countries where emergency uses would be still available.
Thanks for watching, And please note, I strongly believe Inovio will be detonating very soon, so please take this drill with precaution and always do your own DD. If you found this video informative, then do me a simple favor and just consider simply subscribing to my channel so you get a pop-up when a new video is uploaded. I am a simple trader. I try to keep this simple and will simply see you in the next video.